Well, good morning, everyone. If you're like me, you're probably sitting in your living room or kitchen, and hopefully you've gotten the kids hunkered down and you're doing homeschool work. But one of the things that I'm very excited about during this time of uncertainty is that we have complete certain in the one who has all power. And so, in talking with Stephanie, we were just dialoguing about how some of us and our colleagues are navigating through these uncertain times. And so today, my goal is simply just to share with you some steps that we are taking at Forgotten Children Inc. and just some of my personal beliefs about how we can get through these uncertain times. I will share my slides if you would like to have them. Feel free to reach out to me at the end and I can get them to you. But I just pray that today you'll be filled with faith to continue the vision and the mission that God has given you. That said, so the question for today is, how do you press forward during uncertain times? I mean, I remember where I was when the issue of COVID first landed on my doorstep, and next thing you knew, I mean, the world just simply spun out of control. And before I knew it, we were having conversations about furloughing staff, and our building where our corporate office is was closing. And I just had to pause for a second, and I said, Lord, if all of this is happening, how are we supposed to continue doing what you've called us to do? And the answer was simply remember your vision. One of the great things about vision is that vision is not hampered by external or internal circumstances, because vision is given by the Lord according to Habakkuk 2 through 3. And if you're on the call, you're either a visionary, a leader, or something in between the two. If you are the spouse of a visionary or leader, I pray for you, because visionaries and leaders very rarely sleep. We're always coming up with things. We get on everyone's nerve. We're always scratching on pieces of paper. We always have great ideas and big vision. And being a leader and a visionary is it is something I can't describe. But one of the things that visions do is that visions fuel you to push forward. And during these uncertain times, one of the things that I had to do is I had to stop and pause and remember what God had originally told me to do. And our vision for Forgotten Children Inc. is found out over in Isaiah 61. And that is simply that he has anointed us to set the captives free. And all of our programs and services are built around those scriptures. The other thing about vision is that visions burn in the heart long after everyone else is asleep and before they even wake up. When you are a visionary and when you have a vision and a mandate from the Lord, there is no time to rest. I mean, even though we're at home and you feel like, gosh, I can't get out. If you are a true visionary, you should have that vision before you and you're looking at it and you're asking God, what do I need to be doing during this time? One of the things about a vision is that it is something that is heavenly, it is supernatural, and it's something that we can't explain in the natural. Unfortunately, for people who don't understand this, they will always question the visionary. So you'll get questions like, well, how do you plan to do that? Or how can you do that? You don't have the resources. One of the things about being a great visionary is that vision requires three things. It requires foresight, insight, and oversight. Visions were given by the Lord for people to carry out his plan and his will. And so if you have a vision of something that you want to do and you feel so inadequate to do it, that's a good thing because you then realize that you don't have the power to do it. And so you have to rely on foresight, insight, and oversight. And we're going to look at those in just a few seconds. But when you think about Moses and how Moses went up to the mountain, he received the vision from the tabernacle and was told to construct it according to the pattern that he had received. Can you imagine being Moses going up to the mountain and the Lord tells him to do something and then he has to carve it out on stone plates? I can't even imagine that, but he did it. And he had the foresight, the insight, and the oversight to do it. So let's take a look real quick. Where there's no vision, the people are unrestrained, but happy is he who keeps the law according to Proverbs 29:18. Vision is the bridge between the present and the future. Without it, we perish or go unrestrained. As the New American Standard Bible puts it, vision gives pain a purpose. So right now we have a lot of pain going on throughout this country. I mean, people have been laid off their jobs. We're watching the economic downturn like we've never seen it before. But for those who have vision, this pain, the vision gives the pain a purpose. And so if you're at home and you're trying to figure out, well, what will I do once we come back? That vision will give you the insight that you need. Those without vision spend their lives taking the path of least resistance as they try to avoid discomfort. The level of sacrifice that a vision requires will determine the size of people who follow. Sacrifice separates the great from the small. One of the things that I'm experiencing right now is I'm not able to sleep. I'm more excited now, I think, than I was before COVID hit, because I'm like, God, with all of these things happening, this is a great opportunity to get ready for when you bring us out of this, because God doesn't waste anything. And I know, these are uncertain times and I'm not trying to be insensitive, but if you have great vision and great plans, you should be leaping for joy in your kitchen, because this is the time to start thinking about who's going to need you most. So during this pain, allow that vision to give your pain a purpose. So let's take a look at foresight, insight, and oversight. As a visionary, you've been blessed to have keen foresight, insight, and oversight. Visionaries see things others don't see. All kind of stuff. I wear my staff out all the time. They just kind of roll their eyes like, okay, here she goes again. We see beyond, no budgets, no resources, and impossibilities. We will circle around a situation until we have figured out how to make it happen. Our foresight keeps us focused on the future and not get caught up in the right now. I'm willing to bet that most of you right now are trying to come up with a post-COVID plan. And that's why this time is so very important. This is not the time to be sitting around because we can't go outside. As a visionary, one of the things that you should be doing is taking a look at your vision, looking at the plans that you've had in place, and looking to see, how do I begin to cultivate, and how do I begin to execute what God has been giving me to do? And for me, one of the things I'm so excited about is I'm looking at, Lord, how much more will you need us once this thing lifts? I'm thinking about the many women that are being on lockdown or in certain circumstances, and we can't get to her right now. How much more will she need trauma-informed services? One of the things about oversight is that oversight puts life into context. It's like flying over your house in a helicopter. There's a perspective that we can only receive from this vista that helps us understand where we are with respect to where everything else is. The sons of Issachar are great examples of this kind of vision. The book of First Chronicles says that these men understood the times and had knowledge of what Israel should do. People that are blessed with this type of vision often have great wisdom concerning the seasons of life. Right now, we should be men like Issachar. We should be saying, okay, God, what do you want us to do? Okay, everything around me is shut down, but God, I know because you've given me this vision that there is great work for me to do. Maybe you are a stay-at-home mom. Maybe this time your vision is to create plans for your families, and not just for your family, for other people's family. I have learned being home that I don't have the vision to be a stay-at-home mom or a homeschooler. So while I'm trying to do fractions that I have not seen literally in 30 years and understand decimals, my mind is reeling like, Lord, how do I put into practice this vision you've given me right when this thing is over? And I hope for those of you who are my visionary friends that you are thinking the same thing, that you're saying, Lord, how do I begin to take what you've given me? I want to be like a son of Issachar. I want to be like those in the Old Testament, Lord, that you gave them vision, you gave them purpose, and they were not afraid to do exactly what you told them to do. So I don't know about you, but I'm planning to be that person. The next thing a great visionary leader, planner will do is that they will commit to the Lord whatever they do. And the Lord will establish their plans according to Proverbs 16:3. One of the things I'm doing during this time is I'm planning, I'm replanning, and I'm planning again. This is a great time to take a look at your programs. Look at your budgets. Look at those areas that you have and say, okay, so this was going on. Maybe I can refocus this. Maybe I can redistribute this. One of the things about a visionary or in a vision is that the vision doesn't change its course. Understand that. Just because external things may change, if it's a vision from the Lord, the vision never changes. The plans and the parts of execution may change. You may have to rethink how you're going to do this or how you're going to do that. One of the things that we had to do before we furloughed our drop-in center staff is we sent an email to our community partners and we said, listen, our drop-in center is closed. However, we are still responding to emergency services. We received a call on Monday that there was a girl released from jail who was a human trafficking victim, and her pimp / boyfriend was trying to get information about her release. So they called us and they said, can you help us with this girl? She's been released and we want to get her out of the jail, out of this area before he has an opportunity to get her. I don't have any staff, but we were able to get an Uber, coordinate with their case management staff, and we got that girl to safety. What was that? That was a replan, because our goal is to be there, pick her up, take her where she needs to be, but we weren't in the position. One of the things that you're going to have to do during this time is to think about, okay, right now I can't do X, Y, and Z, but what I can do is this. So again, commit what you have and what you're planning to do to the Lord. He'll establish your plans. And then you sit down and you go through them one by one and start thinking about, okay, we did this. Maybe we should do this. Maybe we should rethink this. Never allow yourself to become stale in the information and things that you're doing. Allow yourself that opportunity to move forward and to continue doing all that God has called you to do. And don't be afraid. One of the things I am not afraid of is change. And so it's important for you to make the necessary changes and move forward. So how do we keep progressing during these times? This is time like never before to dust off your vision and put it before you. I keep my vision on the back of my door at work to remind me of what I've been charged to do. Well, since I'm not at work, I now have my vision before me. It's before me. I am massaging it. I'm thinking about it. I'm asking myself questions. We did this. Could I do this better? What are some other things that I could be doing during this time? And so I would challenge you, take your vision from wherever you have it hid. If you have it hid in your purse or in a notebook, take it out, paste it all around the house. I know right now we're all at home, so make wallpaper out of sticky notes. But whatever you do, make sure that you don't lose sight of what it is that you've been called to do, because this is very important. I want to tell you about a person named Elijah. Elijah was a man who had a plan, and his plan was to prepare for rain. And that rain, nobody saw. So he would go out, he would say, I hear the sound of rain. And what would happen was that he would say, go check to see if you see rain. And they would go look, they didn't see any rain. And as they looked and as they saw, no rain. But he prepared and he kept looking out over that dry desert. One of the things that you have to see and one of the things that you have to do is that you have to change your perception. Don't focus on what you see before you. Remember the vision and where you're going. Perception is everything. Nobody heard or saw rain. They probably thought Elijah was crazy. It had not rained in 3 years. But Elijah said, I hear the sound of rain. Number 2, examine ways to strengthen your core programs. This is a time like never before to strengthen your programs and internal and external structure. One of the things I realize is I'm looking at who our partners are. I'm looking at what we're doing, and I'm making changes as needed. One thing I will tell you is that this is going to be a time like never before, that people will need you and people will need your expertise. Use this time to cultivate existing and new partnerships. Get your ideas, a proposal, or business plan ready. If someone were to come to you right now and say, hey, I have $5 million and I'm looking to invest in a post-COVID nonprofit, are you ready? Get that business plan ready. If for those of you, if EDs that are on the line, think about that one program that you are trying to do and get it funded. Have the proposal ready, have everything you need at your base, and encourage your base. This is a time to keep your team motivated. With all the uncertainty that's going on, people are trying to find people that have the I'm not going to quit mentality. The other thing is increase your prayer life and time alone with God. Next, never quit. Quitting should not even be a part of the conversation right now. Do we shut our doors? We have no money. We have no this. We have no that. That should not even be as part of this conversation. What should be happening right now is that you should be motivated to move forward. In fact, you should be pushing forward anyhow. Contact those volunteers. Contact the people and say, hey, listen, We're still here. We're not going anywhere. Have a Caleb type spirit of faith and perseverance, according to Numbers 14:24. Caleb was a man of faith and perseverance. He didn't let anything stop him from doing what it was that he wanted to do and he needed to do. Keep pressing during these times. Keep your vision before you. I said it before, and I'm going to say it again. One of the things that you're going to have to do and that you're going to have to remember to do is that you're going to have to keep your vision before you. The way that you continue during these pressing times, the way that you begin to overcome lethargy, discouragement, and whatever else you may be feeling during this time, is to keep the vision before you. Quote it to yourself, write it down, put it where you need to put it, and then make the necessary adjustments. But whatever you do, be determined not to quit. This is not the time to quit. I am so excited. And I want to challenge you with this question. Name a time in your life when you faced the greatest challenge that you've ever faced. Now think about it. Did you come out all right? You may have some scars and some bruises, but you came out. Little bumpy here, little bumpy there, but you made it out. Stay faithful and consistent. Don't quit. Hold fast to your confession of faith without wavering. This is not the time for the people of God to waver. I know we're at all different levels of faith, but we've all been given a measure of faith. And so with the little faith that you have, even as small as a mustard seed, say, I'm not going to waver. My job, my vision, whatever my purpose is, I will carry it through. I'm not going to allow whatever it is I'm facing to stop me from being the person or doing what God has called me to do. I'm going to tell you guys something. Prior going into COVID-19, our board, we had a meeting, and we had an aggressive fundraising plan to pay off our current safe house and to open a new safe house. And I had planned meeting with the staff, and we sat down and we have our vision plan for 2020, and we're going to triple our numbers, and we're going to do all these things. And then this happened. And so it put a pause on our plans, but it didn't stop the vision. And one of the things I want to tell you is that your vision will keep you progressing during these times. Your vision is what's needed for you to continue moving forward. Your vision is necessary for helping you not to waver. Your vision is necessary to helping you not quit. Remember, God will never allow his promises to fail. Men fail, people fail, I will fail you, but God will never fail. His promises are yes. His promises are amen. We're looking at the economy saying, oh, we will never recover from this. This is horrible. What are we going to do? But I don't know if many of you know that the owner of the Clippers just paid cash, $400 million to purchase the Forum. Think about that just for a second. I don't have $400 million laying around, but $400 million to purchase the Forum. That lets me know that while people are dealing with issues of economics, not everybody. So don't allow what you see to hamper the vision and the purpose and the plan that God has given you. And last but not least, remember, this too shall pass. There is nothing too hard for our God. There is nothing that he can't bring us through. There is nothing that he won't make happen for us. There is nothing that he won't do for us. And I just wanted to encourage you today. And my prayer today is that from this just short time and this short conversation, that you'll walk away feeling like you have the power and the wherewithal to keep going. That one of you that's on here will say, I was going to quit, but I'm not going to quit. It's time for us to mount up together, and it's time for us to continue moving forward. This is not, if you are in this body of Christ, this is the time for us to shine brighter than ever, because people, when they come out of this, they're going to look for torch bearers and light bearers, and we are those people. We're not the people that should be having our head hid in a bushel. Our light should be shining bright during this time. So encourage your colleagues around you, encourage your family around you, but most importantly, just know that you guys have people that are praying for you and people that are in this fight with you. And with that, we're just going to use the last few minutes of our time for Q&A, and the floor is open for questions.